What's going on, everyone? Today we are discussing the summer of 2023 in film and what could potentially make $1 billion next this summer. We've already seen one movie in 2023 make $1 billion, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 thus far has done very well at the box office. It could potentially make $1 billion, but that has yet to be seen. And we have a stacked summer coming up full of blockbuster films. And next on the list is a pretty solid end to the month of May, a huge June, and a massive finale in July. So let's talk about the upcoming slate of summer blockbusters and the films that I feel have a great chance at matching the Super Mario Bros. Movie at making $1 billion next. First up on the list is Fast X. This is the 11th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise if you count Hobbs and Shaw. And personally, if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 does not get to the $1 billion mark, I think it is guaranteed that Fast X is the next movie that's going to hit it, because The Fate of the Furious made $1 billion, and Furious 7 also made $1 billion. The only movie recently that did not make $1 billion was F9, and that's because it came out still when people were not exactly sure about going to the movies during COVID. It was just a year after everything transpired with COVID, so people were still very hesitant about going back to the movies. And the film is considered by many to be a bottom-tier Fast and Furious movie, but it still made over $700 million worldwide. And it seems like a lot of people are hyping up Fast X, so if you ask me, I think this movie is a shoo-in for hitting the $1 billion mark. I think it is 100% guaranteed. How much it makes over $1 billion is anybody's guess, but I'm pretty positive this movie will definitely hit the $1 billion mark. Next up is The Little Mermaid, coming out Memorial Day weekend. This is a live-action remake of the classic animated Disney film from the 1980s. And personally, I think this one could go either way. So far, it feels like this is one of the most controversial movies in a long time, but it's also very popular among kids thus far on social media and families. I'm sure its opening weekend will do pretty well, but if critical reviews aren't so good, I could see a huge drop-off after the holiday weekend. You look at Disney live-action remakes such as The Lion King and Aladdin, those two blew it out of the water. They exploded at the box office when they came out a couple of summers ago. But then Pinocchio and the Peter Pan and Wendy movie that went straight to Disney Plus were panned by critics and audiences, so it seems like people are starting to get very tired of the Disney live-action remakes of those classic animated movies. And if you ask me, I think they should stop making these films entirely. We do not need any more live action remakes. It's so stupid and pathetic. It's clearly obvious that at this point, every single one of these is a cash grab. Whether or not The Little Mermaid is a good movie, though, doesn't necessarily mean it won't make $1 billion. It very well could, even if the movie isn't good. But for right now, because of the controversy and how poorly these films have been received by critics and audiences in recent years, I'm going to say this movie doesn't hit $1 billion. Now we have the 5th installment of the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. People, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is Harrison Ford's last confirmed performance as one of the most iconic characters in cinematic history, Indiana Jones. I've always loved Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. Most people who love Spielberg films and Harrison Ford have loved these movies, and in particular Harrison Ford as the character. If this is his supposed last performance as the character, and considering Kingdom of the Crystal Skull sucked but still made almost $800 million back in 2008, I think it's destiny for this film to make $1 billion, no pun intended. Then there's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. As we've seen over the years, the Mission Impossible franchise continuously gets more and more popular with audiences. Since Ghost Protocol, these movies have kept making more money. You look back at Mission Impossible Fallout, 5 years ago, the film almost made $800 million. People have been waiting for this movie for so long. I'm sure it'll be worth the price of admission. This should be the first billion-dollar movie of the Mission Impossible franchise. Following Dead Reckoning Part 1 is Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan's next film. I'm hearing mixed things from people in terms of Oppenheimer's box office potential. Some are saying that it'll make well over $1 billion because of Christopher Nolan and because of its stacked cast. This is one of the best casts I have ever seen compiled. And it looks like there's an interesting story to tell here, so Oppenheimer has all the ingredients for a great summer blockbuster. But let's be real here, if you look at Nolan's last historical epic, Dunkirk, that film didn't even come close to cracking $1 billion. It only made about half of that. And again, this is a historical film, not a sci-fi epic or superhero Nolan movie. We're not talking about the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Interstellar, or Tenet. I mean, come on. Tenet would have made a lot more money had it not come out in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So with Dunkirk's shaky box office, I just don't see how Oppenheimer will do any better. Finally, Barbie, the Greta Gerwig movie starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. One thing to keep in mind too is that Barbie and Oppenheimer are competing against each other as of now. They both come out the same weekend, and the weekend before they come out is when Dead Reckoning Part 1 comes out too. So there is a ton of competition that week in July. So what are the odds that all three make $1 billion? It's very unlikely. I think if anything, the first movie, Dead Reckoning Part 1, will be the only one to make $1 billion. I just don't see in any world where Oppenheimer and Barbie can make $1 billion too with so much competition surrounding them. Don't get me wrong, Barbie is a very popular doll, the cast is great, and Greta Gerwig is a proven capable director. At this point though, I think it depends on if people are willing to spend as much money as these movies will require in July, and I just don't see it. Why would people want to spend $15 to $20 a week, or in this case in July, twice that weekend on so many movies? You're spending $45 right there on 3 movies, and if you don't go to the movies that much, you're not going to spend all that money. So here's where I'll place the upcoming 6 blockbusters as far as their potential of hitting the $1 billion mark goes this summer. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the summer blockbusters of 2023 and their chances of hitting that $1 billion mark. Do you agree or disagree with my list? And is there any film I'm missing from this list that you think should have made it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down below in the comment section. Guys, I am stoked for this summer. I just upgraded all my gear, so you better believe that I will be posting consistently all summer long and months after that. I am super excited, cannot wait to get things rolling here on YouTube once again. And of course, as always, if you're new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a very fantastic day.